All right, welcome everyone. Today is Wednesday, the 18th of June, 2025, and this is the SIG Cloud Provider meeting. We follow the Kubernetes SIG's meeting guidelines, which can basically be summarized as please treat everyone as you would expect to be treated, or explicitly so, please be kind to each other. And if you have a question, please raise your hand and I will call on you. Okay, let's start by seeing if there's any sub-project updates that people have to deliver. Would anyone like to share something about a sub-project update? Okay, not seeing any hands going up, so I will assume that, people are good on their updates there. So, uh, for the agenda, I had one item that I wanted to talk about, and this was kind of like I guess kind of a housekeeping slash, help out kind of thing. So,
Oh,
couple,
wait,
yeah,
you claimed host. Would you mind setting me as co-host just for
yeah,
administrative tasks?
yeah, absolutely. If if this interface will work. All right, that should.
Wonderful, thank you.
So, yeah, so, several months ago at this point, that we had some errors with like end-to-end testing and whatnot, and it came down to us wanting to get changes into, various cloud provider repos that are in Kubernetes SIGs, and I won't necessarily go into details because I don't think it's germane. But so we ended up having to have like a waiting time because the SIG cloud provider leads were not able to approve PRs that were being put up to fix the issue. So we had to. There was kind of like a latency period where we had to wait for the maintainers to kind of come on and be able to, to be able to approve those and everything. So I was looking around some other projects, and I think, the ones that are most prominent to me are like the cluster API providers, because those kind of are similar in some respects to you know, to the cloud provider code that we have. And one thing I've always noticed about the cluster API providers is that, oh, thank you, is that they have the SIG cluster lifecycle leads listed as approvers there. And I think that's, to help out in these kind of situations. So I wanted to raise the question, um, you know, can we, or maybe maybe I should ask, should we add the SIG cloud provider tech leads or leads just in general to the aliases for those cloud providers that exist within Kubernetes SIGs, and not necessarily to push like feature changes, but to be there as a stopgap for when if and when we hit an error and that we need to be able to get a fix in, we have like a last line of defense to kind of help out with that.
I think that's a great idea. I'm not actually sure why we didn't have that, and so perhaps that's just the organic growth over time that led us to not have that, but it seems very reasonable to me.
Cool. Yeah, I think you're right, Bridget. I think probably it just, given given the way we've been doing the extraction migration and kind of all the activity around that, I have a feeling it was just one of those things that, probably just got overlooked over time. I don't think there was any, intent behind it or anything. Does anybody else have questions or thoughts about this?
Plus one from me. I think it makes sense. I've seen lots of other repos where the SIG leads are in there, so we are a bit of an anomaly, I think, not having that.
Cool. Okay, well, I guess like I can take an action item to open up some PRs to kind of start that, and then at the very least we'll have a discussion topic, and if the maintainers have a problem with that, then we can, hopefully bring it back here and talk about it. Okay, so that's kind of the end of the regular agenda. Are there other ad hoc topics that people would like to discuss, or questions people have, or anything?
I can't find the raise hand button again. I spent too much time in other tools apparently. But I did want to bring up that as people as people may have seen, the Salesforce has given CNCF and Kubernetes Slack notice that as of the end of this sentence, well, no, but as of, Friday, 2 days from now, sometime Friday, we don't exactly know when. But both Kubernetes and CNCF Slack are going to downgrade to the free Slack. And because obviously CNCF is not going to pay uh, the pricing model that, and the question has come up like, oh, but couldn't we just pay it? Because that seems reasonable. Get somebody to donate it. The pricing model is per user. Kubernetes Slack is like over 200,000 people. So like it becomes untenable quite quickly. So because it'll be downgraded, and then also, and we can add links. I'll add links after this to the blog post announcements, etc. But or if anybody has links, they can drop them in the chat if they have them handy. I'm sure you've seen this, but yes, it was donated and now it is not, and that's a business decision Salesforce can make. But that means that CNCF and uh, Kubernetes specifically, and that's most relevant to us, are possibly going to move to a different platform later this year. They're evaluating choices. So there are plenty of suggestions, and yeah, and Almiko is writing the stuff that I was about to say. So Almiko, you want to just add that?
Yeah, I don't. I'd have to like go look through my email and find the link.
Mhm.
Let me. You know what?
Mhm.
Actually, let me see. I think I have it here. Let me
Oh,
just.
if you have it handy, I have it open on a different computer. So
Yeah, the downgrades. I think.
yeah, I think that when I was in the TOC
Okay, this
and
looks like the
GB, like
document.
exactly, there you go. So for the meeting I was in yesterday, we discussed it a bit, and one of the things to worry about from the point of view of if you've been using it is if you have something in private channels or DMs, obviously those are not going to be in the exports that CNCF is doing. But also, and this is kind of one of those tricky things, it's not like the Slacks are going to get turned off instantly. They'll still exist. But if you have something pinned, but it's pinned to a file that got uploaded into that Slack, and you're like, oh, I can just still go back to that pin. They'll delete files that were uploaded into that Slack or messages that are like, oh, I've bookmarked this message in the channel, and that's like the important announcement message. Just be aware that anything older than 90 days, including files that were uploaded and messages you pinned, are going to be gone. Yeah,
Yeah, and sorry for my keyboard chatter there. I forgot to
that's
mute.
fine. And this is,
Uh,
and if you're thinking like, oh, but I've dealt with this before, and sometimes they just put you back on the trial, and then I just grab my stuff. This is different because Slack changed their policy. I think it was like middle of last year, where now when something isn't paid, they delete stuff. They've decided they're not going to be the storage for the internet forever. So yeah.
yeah. Thank you for bringing this to our attention, Bridget. And yeah, like I was reading some of the releases that came out around this, and I thought it was interesting to note that I think they said the Kubernetes Slack is like the largest Slack instance out there. So that's kind of wild, I think. All right, does anybody have questions or comments about the Slack stuff that's going to be happening later this week?
Maybe I'll add that there's discussion of possibly moving to Discord. And my heart sank when I saw that because I have tried to use Discord in the past and it was a chaotic mess, but I've been told that it is significantly easier to like separate your concerns so that all this like, gamer channel stuff and whatnot is not in the same, it won't be as visible to you in theory. So like if you have looked at Discord in the past and been like, ooh, I don't know, theoretically it might be better now. So,
Yeah, I find the Discord choice just to be amusing, but mostly because I use Discord for like gaming and stuff like that. So it's fun. It's just funny to see, the world get a little smaller, I guess.
well, but to your point about Kubernetes Slack being one of the biggest Slacks, Kubernetes Discord would not be one of the biggest Discords by far. There are gamer Discords that are way bigger,
Right,
which is
right. I
good
believe it.
for
Yeah.
scale reasons. Yeah.
That is good. Yeah, from a purely scale point of view. All right, cool. If there's no other questions on that one, I'll give one more chance to, are there any ad hoc topics or questions people would like to add to the agenda before we review kind of the open issues and our test grid?
Actually, before we look at open issues and test grid, I would just love to hear from people who aren't on the call frequently or who have joined the call in just the last few months, if they want to, you know, speak up, say what is of interest to them. Like, what are they looking for out of this SIG, just so that we can try to make sure we're making the SIG what the people who are showing up want. Yeah. I think I see names that I'm not sure I've seen frequently. Yeah, JD.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, I used to join previously, so I'm a San Diego State student. I've been off for a couple of months because I was working on a private project of mine under my professor, in which I integrated some IoT sensors with cloud using Kubernetes and Prometheus Grafana just for try to put in some advanced technologies into IoT systems. And uh, I'm also working on publishing a paper, so that did quite a lot of my time, and also juggling the semester. So yeah, I'm back in and try to contribute and try to learn some new things. Yeah, and this is a real shock that we are transforming into from Slack to Discord. And I'm still wondering how it will go, but yeah, it is kind of amusing and exciting as well. And thank you for giving me a chance to speak. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And welcome
Mhm.
back, JD.
Thank you.
Glad the studies are going well.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
All right, anybody else want to share like kind of their concerns or interests or what they're looking for from the SIG, or maybe, things the SIG could be doing better, like, yeah, anything really. Yeah, Marco, please.
Hey, I cannot show my face today. Don't know why my webcam is not working. But Mark, I work at a Red Hat and work with you, Mike McLean. I'm not here frequently, but I have a question today. I'm following more closely the cloud provider AWS CCM project. Now I'm seeing almost 1 week CI failure in the upstream. I would like to learn from you or ask you what will be the better channel for folks need to ask about that.
It's a little tough to understand you, Marco. It sounds like your microphone is maybe muffled.
Oh, apologies. Apologies. Let me try to change the microphone here. Can you hear?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
much.
that's much better.
Sorry for that. Let me repeat. I'm Mark. I work at Red Hat. We work with you, Mike McCoy, and Joe Speed. No, I would like to ask you. I'm exploring more the cloud provider AWS, the CCM project, and I'm looking for uh, more information where I can, for who I can ask to for more information about CI jobs failing in these projects. I'm trying to help there. I see that there is something should not be hard. It's a AMI, a wrong AMI. The CI is fetching and is breaking a job. I open an issue on the project. It looks like it's breaking like a week. So yeah, I would like to hear from you. And sorry not showing my face here. Webcam is not working.
That's okay, Marco. So I guess the question would be like, yeah, okay, so looks like it's coming out of Amazon's test grid. So I'm guessing that Dims is going to be someone to talk to here. And Kirthan as well, because Kirthan, I think, is the lead maintainer for the cloud provider. But it might be worthwhile let me just see. Um, I'm guessing Kirthan, or, Dims, might be able to give us a little guidance. So that would be
Okay.
like, because I think this, I'm not sure how this test is wired in to the Kubernetes stuff, and I don't, are these coming from, are these, and maybe you already looked at this, Marco, are these tests coming out of the main Kubernetes EDE tests, or are they being generated from somewhere else?
Looks like it's. I'm not sure, to be honest. Looks like it's inherited from the Kubernetes, but it's
Is this
required from Jones.
right? Like this part would make me a little bit curious. I don't know if that's actually coming out of the core end-to-end, or if this is end-to-end tests that are coming out of, what's here basically. That would be my guess, is that it's, well, that seems pretty thin though.
Yeah, I didn't found the email reference, but yeah.
Okay, well let's give Kirthan and Dims a chance to respond, and maybe they'll have some good pointers for us there. I think, this kind of goes back to the topic that I brought up at the top of the hour there. I would like to help, kind of expand some of this stuff, and yeah, have a better understanding so that it's easier for us to fix these things, because, first of all, Marco, thank you for pointing this out, and for kind of putting up some fixes for it as well. But I would love to help turn this into more of a self-serve process where we can get more interaction from the community, so that we don't necessarily need, just the AWS maintainers to fix that. So yeah, like I'd say let's give it a day or two. Usually Dims is pretty quick to respond on these things, but let's see what Dims and Kirthan have to say, and yeah, let's just try and make it better, I guess.
Cool. Thank you, Mike.
Did anybody else have comments about this one either? Look back at the details here. So it looks like it just started failing. No, and it's like some image pull thing.
Yeah, not sure if it was rotated or something like that, but yeah, it's not finding the AMI.
Right. Maybe it's just changed or something.
Mm.
Okay. Yeah, hopefully AWS folks can help us out there though. Okay. Anyone else? Any other topics people want to bring up, or questions or comments, or, things you'd like to share with us, what you're curious about the SIG, etc. Okay, I'm not seeing more hands going up, although I did just see Bridget unmute. So did you want to add something, Bridget?
Oh, I was gonna invite Chris to say his thoughts about, because we have some stuff happening in the chat, but that doesn't get captured. And I think that there definitely are plenty of other tools out there like Mattermost or Matrix. And the pushback I've seen is support at scale. Like just because Kubernetes Slack in particular is so large. But what's your thinking on what would serve the community best, Chris?
Oh, I love Discord as an option, honestly. But that's because I'm in that gaming circle. I've been using it for forever. And so for me, it's removing one more thing that I don't have to have open. That's not the good reasoning for everybody else though. But yeah, I don't think we're going to make the decision in this SIG. That's why I was just doing it in the chat. I didn't think it was relevant for the meeting.
Oh,
I'll say
but I think
something that is relevant.
every SIG, but every SIG has input. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. But we're a tiny one. I have a job again, so yay.
Tell
I'm
us
at
about your new
CoreWeave
job.
now.
Hey,
Yeah.
congrats.
CoreWeave.
Yeah, I'm doing Kubernetes infrastructure at CoreWeave. So
Wonderful.
AI, we're burning the forest down, but hey, we're gonna get you some nice GPU action.
Congrats. Happy to hear it. And I hope that we can make sure that the, cloud provider testing availability, et cetera, that we work on in this SIG, you can bring your CoreWeave insights
I'm
to.
thinking, yeah, we'll see. There's a chance we might need to make a cloud provider. Right now, they do some weird things with their Kubernetes nodes and how they manage them that I don't want to get into, but like I think there's maybe some future for moving them towards the more standard open source upstream way. We'll see.
Very exciting. Yeah, and yeah, like again, congrats, Chris. Very very happy.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thanks for you were helping me. And sorry, this is sidetracking the meeting, but yeah, I've got a lot of support from the community, and I liked it. It was
That's
helpful.
awesome. I'm happy to hear it, and just yeah, it's one of the great things about the Kubernetes community in general. It's like a lot of great people around here. Okay, who else has got a topic they want to chat about here? Because if we run out of topics, I'm going to start looking at issues and whatnot, and no one wants that, right?
I think issues in test code would actually be great because Marco did lead us towards one issue that we should be thinking about. I'm sure there probably might be others.
All right, let's see what needs to be triaged here. All right, so it looks like we've been staying on top of the triage stuff. We've got nothing new that needs to be triaged, and I did mark one for okay. I did accept one as triage, but it came up a while ago, and it seemed pretty non-controversial. Although now it would be good for me to be able to like pull it back up and show it, but I think it's already been merged and whatnot. So we're looking good there. And then let's look at the test grid. Now this will be interesting because theoretically, like this is only showing us the GCP part of the test grid. But what I'm wondering now is like, should we be also checking these other test grids where cloud provider is being covered? Because this is testing the cloud provider AWS stuff, which theoretically or not theoretically, but we have some, we should be watching this stuff. So it makes me wonder if we need to revisit this in the future. But for the moment, it looks like the GCP tests, and these are being sourced from Kubernetes. Looks like these are doing okay for now. So let's look historically. Yeah, this looks pretty clean here. So this looks pretty good. I do want to make a note about this, though. Like, maybe a question for us to ponder for next time is like, do we, because I think ideally, like what I would love to, like, this is great that we can see these, and these are the tests that come out of the core E to E. But I have a feeling that these tests might be coming from the cloud provider AWS. And if that were the case, I think we still have some responsibility to monitor these things. Oh, of course, the AWS one is old enough that it's still in the Kubernetes namespace. But it does make me wonder, because now this test that we're showing as a failure here, ECR should start. I'm just wondering if these are actually, I wonder if this is actually coming. ECR should start pod. Okay, let's see. Is that in here somewhere?
Specifically said should start pod using public image. And I'm just kind of wondering, like, maybe it uses a different kind of image now than it used in the past.
Right. Or like as Marco said, maybe maybe the image changed or something. So I was just wondering if maybe this was the test we were looking at or something. Let's see. ECR should start pod using public ECR image. Yeah, should start. Yeah, so this is the test so these are the tests that are coming. These are the tests where it's coming from. So I presume these are the, it looks like it was not able to kind of finish the test. But yeah, it looks like this is where the testing's coming from. So presumably, that presumably, well, I don't even see the same image there. So yeah, I guess this is just going to require more investigation. But yeah, like my larger point is that technically this cloud provider AWS, this is something that our SIG is keeping track of. And Marco, I see you have your hand up, please.
No problem. What I was observing is that the testing even started up. So the problem is the job, was not started up because that AMI does not exist. So we are seeing a lot of jobs in that, a lot of tests in that job, but the job even started because the AMI is not found. So Yeah,
Right. Like it failed in the kube test up part.
correct. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, like I think I think it's definitely the SIG's interest to make sure that tests coming out of these repositories are also like passing and whatnot. And so I'm really one of the things I would love to see for the future of this SIG is, yeah, us being able to get more involved in kind of fixing these things and involved in that. Now, in this case, the AMI changed, so that might be something that, yeah, we need the help of the AWS specific folks to kind of help us with. But I think the more details that we can expose from this, the more we can make it transparent and easy for people to work on, or easier. The stronger these components will be, and the more confidence that we'll have in their ability to, to have fewer bugs, I guess, and to behave the way we expect. Okay, so I think aside from the AWS issue, we're looking pretty good on testing. All right, I'll give it one last chance, or we're going to take 30 minutes of our day back here. So going once, going twice.
I did want to quickly ask, do we have a critical mass of people who will be around on 2 weeks from today, which is July 2nd? I will be around. I'll be able to run the call if desired. I know our European friends don't have America Holiday, but America Holiday is happening. Joel will be out on PTO.
I should be here, so I can be here as well. So at the very least, Bridget and I can have a
All right.
conversation.
Okay. So we will have a meeting, because if it were the Friday after, it would be different, but Wednesday before, sure.
Right, cool. Yeah, good keeping an eye out there too, Bridget.
Imagine as the summer continues, we will have some more meetings like last time canceled due to empty agenda or moderator availability. But for
Yeah,
now,
for
feel free
now.
to put items on the agenda for next time. If you, agenda topics for next meeting. Please
Yeah.
feel free to add comments.
Yeah, exactly. Like in support of what Bridget's saying here. Yeah, like if you're coming to these meetings and there's things there's questions you have, or there's things you'd like to learn from the SIG or whatever, please feel free to just, add your topics here, and yeah, we'll cover them in upcoming calls. And if, put your name next to it so that if you're not around, we can wait, for you to be there, or maybe it doesn't require you to be there. Give us some details. We'd be happy to kind of address any questions folks have. Okay, so back on the topic of taking 29 minutes of our day back, or now 28 minutes of our day back. Last chance for topics. Going once? Oh, JD, please.
I don't think I have to say much, but it's just appreciation for you guys, because you guys really inspired me to get more into Kubernetes. And I did get a certification. I took some time off, but I did some really cool project. And I'm also possibly writing a research paper in a couple of months using Kubernetes and technologies and stuff. So yeah, it really helped me grow in the right direction. Even I don't know much about what exactly happening, but it did spark an interest in me, and I'm just trying to learn new things. It's kind of new to me that I'm getting to know some more technologies and how things work and nitty-gritty of that. But you guys really inspire me, and it's I haven't said it, but it's a real backing that we have. So thank you guys for having me and for this whole SIG group and stuff. So really helps a lot. Thank you.
Well, thank you, JD. That's very kind of you to say, and very much appreciated. And yeah, this is like the best of open source, right? When we can all come together and collaborate and inspire each other.
Wonderful. And I would encourage you to consider submitting an article for the Kubernetes blog if it turns out that your project is relevant to that.
Of course, yeah. I'll definitely look into it. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And thank you for the guidance and the support, guys. Thank you. Even though by joining the meeting, we can get to learn a lot of new things. And the beginner as me, it's a lot. You just learn by watching you guys. So it's fun.
Great.
Very
Thank you so
cool.
much.
Hopefully we're not making too many mistakes. So you're learning some good habits and whatnot. Okay. this time for real, we're taking 25 minutes of our day back. See you all in 2 weeks, and take care out there.